What's up, fellow model train enthusiasts? This is Lone Wolf 777 broadcasting from his home in California today. Oof, sorry, I'm in a little bit of a pain right now, but let's get over to this project update. So, as you can see here, one of my locomotives, the F45 1936, is nearly done. As you can see, I painted the handrails, the stanchions. I don't know if that's actually what you call those things, but yeah. It almost looks like the real thing now. According to the photographs that I have of this thing, well, the only photograph, is that there is not a chain link right here that I thought there would be, because usually there's always some sort of chain like right here to prevent the crew from falling off of the front of the engine or the back of the engine when they were reversing, or when they were connected in a multiple unit consist, meaning there would be like 3 engines that you would see in real life connected all together, and then the chains would be connected to the other locomotive and form a path walkway of sorts. I didn't really see that with the 1936. I just saw all this, and then there was a bar. Now, I'm theorizing here. I could be wrong. I'm not completely sure. There could have probably been one of those bars to where you could hook it on to the other end, and then when you needed to unhook it and, cross between locomotives, or, whatever you needed to do, they would unhook that bar, lie it down, lie it to the side right here, or it would be dangling right there, and then they would just secure it somehow, and then boom, there you go. But I'm not sure. It seems like that could have been the case, but I'm not sure. I installed a PWRS Magnalock air hose, as you can see here, with a little magnet where my pinky finger is. Okay, that's the little square magnet. As you can see, it's also on this locomotive, so if I was to do a couple up, the air hoses would magnetically couple up automatically, and when the train disconnected it, the magnets would disconnect too. So that's pretty cool. I'm glad I'm ordering PWRS stuff, because it makes my trains look more realistic, in my opinion. I installed LEDs right here, and then I finally got the LED for the strobe light. That up there. So now you can see that there's a Exion or Xeon strobe light. I'm not really sure how you would pronounce it, but it's said Exion, so I'm going to go with Exion. Whatever. So there's an orange light inside here now, which is an LED again, and I did install a speaker into the locomotive. I did some rewiring here and there, so that's pretty much done. The only thing that needs to be done in 2 cases, which is install a decoder, get a decoder and install it, and paint the handrails right here. But I'm going to find some sort of primer and sealing clear coat. That way it locks the paint into place and doesn't scratch up and then falls off. I'm getting tired of actually trying to do that now. Just painting it, and then all of it peels off over time. So I'm not going to do that. We're going to paint this right. So yeah, the handrails are formed. I just need to paint them, but I need to get primer and then a clear coat. So that's it for the F45 1936. Let's bring this one out. This is the SD75M, which has been in my collection for a very long time. It's almost a part of, well, it's part of the family in my opinion. I've had this for a while. These are all Athearn Genesis locomotives, by the way, very old runs. So as you can see, I've done a lot of work to it. I've installed brake line pipe detail right here to where the cylinders are, the brake cylinders that compress the air and push the block against the wheels to stop the train. I also installed scratch-built uncoupling cut levers. Yay! Makes it more realistic, right? And there's also the PWRS Magnalock MU cable, and then PWRS Magnalock air hoses. Very tedious to install, but they do work. They're very well worth it. So I hope people start doing more PWRS Magnalock air hoses, because that's just cool. I mean, this is showing how models are going in the right direction by people inventing stuff to make model trains more realistic and look more cool. I installed bright white LEDs. They kind of got a bluish tint to them. What drove that decision was I got a little impatient and ahead of myself one day by super gluing the LEDs into the ditch light housings without checking them, and I didn't know that I needed a resistor to make the LEDs work. So when I finally found this out, I was like, uh-oh, oh no, it's too late. These are glued in there, locked into place. I can't take them out unless I wanted to do some sort of really bad damage to it. But anyways, the only thing that needs to be done next is install a decoder, install some MU cable connectors like you see with this air hose right here, and then there's going to be an installation of the Sinclair antenna right on top of the locomotive, right where my finger's pointing. There's a little hole there. You can't see it, but it's there. That's where the Sinclair antenna goes. Let's take a look at the rear of the locomotive. Same deal. You got an MU cable here. You got an uncoupling cut lever here. I just need to install some MU cables here, and we're good to go. Okay. Now for the final locomotive update of these projects. Dun, 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 is the 5942 FP45 freight bonnet scheme, or yellow bonnet or blue bonnet, whatever you want to call it, paint scheme for the freight locomotives of the Santa Fe. I've installed and crafted from scratch brass handrails like you saw in the other locomotive, the F45, and these stanchions are from old Blue Athearn Blue Box kits. So I've pretty much been taking those and making my own scratch handrails because I got tired of the plastic ones. To me, they just were so flimsy, I just couldn't stand it anymore. So I took matters into my own hands and started making my own handrails, which is pretty cool. The locomotive does have LEDs installed. There's no light bleed. I made sure of that myself. So there's LEDs right here. I also painted the truck silver because these were originally black. I also installed brake piping detail, as you can see here in the locomotive, on the locomotive. It's very hard to see, but it's there. And here on all four sides, actually. So let's turn this to the front. Okay. So what I've done is, after looking after the real photographs of this particular unit, the way that it was painted and the way that it was dressed up, the factory blue here, right here, that would have had to have been yellow all the way down in order for the black trucks to make sense, and there would have been no beacon light added. The Mars light would have stayed, the horn would have stayed yellow, but after seeing the way it was painted, and I didn't really want to fuss with the steps because that's just way too hard for me to do. I'm not at that skill level set yet. That's pretty much what decided the whole project. I got Tayama silver, aluminum silver paint, and I just sprayed it onto the truck details, and now you can see what you see. They're pretty silver. They're nice. You got brake piping detail that I installed myself after numerous studying and trying to find parts. I installed LEDs right here. These are all warm white LEDs, by the way. One's a red, and the other one's just a warm white LED for the beacon light. Kind of should have just waited for myself to, again, really do more research and see if there was an orange LED, which I did find, and then I installed on the F45. But I just, again, that impatience gets me sometimes. So the headlights work, the Mars light works, the beacon light works. I did not install LEDs for the number boards, courtesy lights, stepwell lights, or truck lights, which would have gone front to back all the way here. I'm not doing that because that just takes up so much real estate in the locomotive, even though this one does have a lot of room. I just don't like having to keep soldering and then, you know, going back and forth, testing the lights and all that. I just didn't like that idea. So I like where I've gotten to the point where it's okay. To me, it's going to look realistic when it goes down the track, and that's fine enough for me. So this locomotive did receive some work internally. I installed a speaker, 28 millimeter speaker, in this locomotive and this one right here. Okay, the F45 right here, that's on the printer. Now, you know, I was going to install 2 speakers, but that kind of just got changed over time, overhearing the manufacturers saying, hey, if you're going to install 2 speakers, you need to start worrying about polarity and some other stuff. And I was like, now I'm kind of worried about that. So I just decided, you know what, I'm going to stick with the 1 speaker in here, and that's it. That's all I'm going to do. You know, if someone was willing to help me install the 2nd speaker and show me how to make sure that I don't burn out the speaker, hey, I'm all for it. But until then, this is where I'm sticking. This is just where I'm comfortable leaving the project at for internal electrical wise. I do need to install a decoder, so I need to order 3 decoders from Tsunami Soundtracks. And since I'm not really doing a lot of work to these particular units, electrical wise, for like lights, I'm going to be getting the old Tsunami 2 EMD2 decoders, not the new ones that just came out recently. So I'm going to be going to the ones that are like $88 on modeltrainstuff.com. So that way it saves me a lot of money in the long run, because there's a lot to get more done with these particular units. There's yellow paint to be painted onto these things and so on and so forth. Just so much work left, and that'll be it. But they are 95% complete. Well, if you've enjoyed this video, comment, like, subscribe. If you got any questions, throw them down in the comment section below. I will try to get back to your questions as fast as I can. Lone Wolf 777 signing off. See you down the rails. Peace out.